This is going to be talking all about the different rodeo slang and terms that I use.
Fallon Taylor,
little lady with a great challenge in front of her. This is Flo.
Baby Flo. She wins the world championship. And the winner's circle for that cowgirl.
and the victory lap. Fallon Taylor will win.
She's riding a new horse, a young horse, out of her champion Flo.
She has absolutely been unstoppable.
What's up, Flomies? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being back with us. Now today is a highly requested video. This is going to be talking all about the different rodeo slang and terms that I use that maybe don't make a lot of sense to rodeo people. For that, one, I apologize, and two, I'm about to give you a very in-depth look at all the different slangs and terms that we use to kind of describe the rodeo road and the times that I'm up in places and how I draw up at certain rodeos and things to expect. So don't mind the country jams playing in the background of this vlog. We had to muffle the audio just a tiny little bit, so make sure and crank it. I hope that you love this vlog. Let's get to it. A lot of you guys may know the ins and outs of rodeo, but you may not know the very intricate kind of lingo terms, and it may be confusing you a little bit as you watch us go to different types of rodeos. So, what is slack? What's a performance? What's an open rodeo? What's a Wpra jackpot? What's a pro rodeo? What makes them all different? Here is the vlog that's going to teach you all of that. So let's get it started. A rodeo, a pro rodeo, sanctioned by the Prca or the Wpra. Also, there are pro rodeos sanctioned by the IPRA, CPRA. There's various other professional rodeo organizations, but only one organization that can rank you top 15 in the world standings to go to Las Vegas to the National Finals Rodeo. So yes, there are finals for a bunch of other professional rodeo associations, but this would be our crown jewel. This would be the one that, you know, when you're kind of dreaming of things, this is maybe the one that you're dreaming of to go to Las Vegas to go compete at the NFR. Now, each rodeo only has so many people that they can allow compete while people are in the stands purchasing tickets to watch. So let's, for instance, say tonight the performance here in Delta, Utah starts at 7:30 p.m. People will buy tickets, fill the stands, and they're expecting to be here for about 2 hours. So they have to limit how many people can be in each event. Now, each rodeo varies in the barrel racing from 10 contestants to 12 contestants. Our max that can compete in a performance is 12. Typically, we do not drag during the performance, so if you have attended a lot of jackpots where they drag after 5, that might be a little shocking to you. And also, tea and funny to me that our max and our association rules that we can only have the max of 12 in a performance, yet we compete at the NFR with 15. Now, this last year, due to COVID, in Dallas, there was a drag, and I think that it went beautifully. I hope that they carry that on into Las Vegas because it directly violates our own rule. So I'm hoping that they make that happen because it was really amazing in Dallas. So they picked 10 or 12 people that can be in the performance. Now, let's say Delta runs, well, just for ease, let's say it goes Friday and Saturday, and they allow 12 people in the performance. That's 24 girls. Every other entry that didn't make it into the performance, all of those entries have to run sometime. So they either run in slack after a performance, which is really late at night, or slack before the performance, which is really early in the morning. Either way, slack is not preferred, but it is mandatory because we're all trying to go to a lot of rodeos at the same time. In our perfect world, like Reno coming up, there's slack every single day, which makes it really, really even. We're hoping that someday that gets adopted into all pro rodeos so that trades are not so crazy. We can all get the same day. But that's just kind of a pipe dream. Now, what criteria determines who's going to get in the performance and who's going to get in the slack? You tell me, sister, because I think that the Instagram algorithm is easier to predict than the actual, like, what makes somebody's credentials get them into a performance or the slack. Now, it's said that it's random draw. However, you will randomly draw the same position and the same running position several times in a row. So I don't know that it's super random. Maybe they draw it once a week and we enter a lot of rodeos that week, whatever it may be. It's really kind of a crapshoot as to who's going to get the perf and who's going to get the slack. Now, you can trade. That's why we rarely post where we're going to be at what time, because let's say you didn't know, for instance, this week I'm up at Flagstaff on the 24th. Well, I'm also up at Kadoka, South Dakota on the 24th, and I begged everyone that's in a later performance at Flagstaff to trade with me. But due to everyone's work schedules and rodeo schedules, nobody could trade with me. Now, I haven't turned out of that rodeo because just in case something happens in Kadoka, weather, Right now, Red Lodge, Montana is on fire. They may have to cancel the rodeo. So just crazy natural disasters that may happen, I'm going to keep my name in the pot. Now, the reason I don't announce where I'm going to be is because that list has my name on it, but I may not be able to make it because of that conflicting rodeo that I think is a better fit for me and Hush Money. So it's very confusing, I know, but in my mind, I kind of have two routes that I take, and see if I draw more perks one way or slack another way or whatever may determine exactly where I go. So I can't turn out a Flagstaff until like the day before. So people try to make arrangements, and it's just absolutely impossible. Now, we receive callbacks at some rodeos way in advance, but 99.9% of rodeos, we're only going to know about 7 days in advance where we're going to be, which makes it even tougher to schedule. So, what is the difference between an open rodeo and a PRCA/WPRA rodeo? Well, it's the sanctioning body. So an open rodeo may be open to all genders. It could be open to all contestants, or they could have some limitations. You may need to be a member of that said association, or they may have some restrictions. But typically open means you don't have to be 18 to compete. You don't have to be a certain level. You could do all the things you want to do and just compete at that level. But again, those finals, you kind of have to see where your goals are. Are those finals going to be in conjunction with your goals or not? If you're wanting to get to Vegas, these are the rodeos you got to go to. When I talk about WPRA tour rodeos, those are a tour within the tour. So everyone's on this WPRA run this summer to try to qualify for the National Finals Rodeo. I'm on a tour within that I've chosen, and you just choose which rodeos you want to go to that are designated WPRA tour rodeos, where I'm trying to win a side pot of points that will qualify to a different finals. With those finals, the top 4, top 3, and top 2 get special qualifications into rodeos like Calgary, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Fort Worth, Denver, big rodeos like that. So I'd like to do that and potentially be top 50 in the world, because both of those things provide you with enough credentials to be invited to some of those bigger rodeos. So there's various different end goals that can happen within the PRCA, WPRA organizations. They have it set up for people that want to stay within their circuit, which would be where they live and close rodeos to that. They can hit a certain number of those rodeos, and then there is a circuit finals designated for people that go to those circuit rodeos. And then, if you qualify out of that, you can go to the big Ram National Circuit Finals, which has each winner of each circuit compete against each other for an even bigger title, which is really, really cool. Amateur rodeos are also basically a slang term for anything that isn't PRCA, WPRA, but still considers itself professional. IPRA, CPRA, UPRA, all of those associations, while they have professional in their name, we refer to them as AMIs, or amateur rodeos. They do have big finals. They pay great. Those rodeos are tough as nails. They're just as tough as pro rodeos, but a really great way for you to get on pace with what a pro rodeo schedule would feel like while being just a little bit closer to home. But the competition is no easier. So a WPRA approved jackpot, which are some of the jackpots that we go to, is just a regular jackpot. So that's just a place where anyone can go enter and run in open 4 or 5D, which is just open to anybody, professional, amateur, all genders, all ages can go and enter up. But sometimes they have a side pot for the WPRA division where any 1D money will actually be applied to your permit earnings or your NFR standings. It depends on what time of year it is. There's a big jackpot called the WPRA World Finals in Waco, where we can actually compete toward the world standings in a jackpot setting. So, which goes against our rules that anything must have 7 events in order to qualify for the NFR, but that's a whole other thing. So we get a lot of questions of, someone will say that they've been to a rodeo that weekend, when they've actually been to like a gymkhana or a play day. There's different levels of gymkhana, play day, and jackpot, and it's kind of the rankings of how you start. There are some youth rodeos that go on, but most gymkhana, so gymkhana is an event for, and it can be from beginners to people that are really, really serious, but it has a bunch of different events that I've never even heard of. Keyhole, pole bending, it can have all sorts of different events, and typically one person competes in a lot of events that day, and usually using the same horse. And they also have association finals and all sorts of fun things that they can do with those things. Jackpots can be also sanctioned by sanctioning body. This is so confusing. So jackpots can also be sanctioned to have a finals within a jackpot. For instance, the NBHA. So the NBHA World Finals, those are jackpots sanctioned by the NBHA, and they crown a world champion at the end of the year in a jackpot setting where the only events are barrel racing and I believe pole bending. Then there's the AQHA World Finals. You can go to the AQHA circuit and go show for just those points to qualify you to the AQHA World Show, which Baby Flo and I have won the world at, where you can go compete in a multitude of events from halter, performance halter, calf roping, team roping, barrel racing, all of those things. But typically this is for a specialist. So you're going to see Matt Mills compete at the AQHA World Show on a reiner. You're going to see me and Cody compete in the barrel racing for a Golden Globe, and that's the big just kind of icing on the cake for our year. It happens in the fall, and it's so exciting. As you can see from how confusing all of these different associations can be, or maybe you followed right along because you have a lot of knowledge about this sport, the main thing is to know exactly what it is that you want to do and what you want your goal and your dream outcome to be. If you don't have that in mind, you could get really lost and confused on where to enter all of these things. Now, let me go ahead and beat you to a comment below about how do I get started or what do I do in all these things. Google is your friend. Google all of these terms that I went ahead and said for you so that you can kind of get started on where the local events are, what membership is required, what's required of you, does your horse have to be registered, is a common question that we get. And the answer is only if you want to go to futurities, derbies, sweepstakes, or the AQHA World, which futurities, just to be very fast, futurities are aged events, derbies are aged events. So if you want to go to those kind of things, your horse needs to be 4, 5, or 6, depending on the rules of various place. Or you could go to some American qualifiers, or you could go to the WCRA finals. There's endless options, but the main thing is Google is your friend. A lot of questions we also get is, can you ride multiple horses at rodeos, especially like at the NFR? What does that matter? Well, when it comes to aged events, futurities, derbies, or the AQHA World, it goes strictly off of the horse. When you're talking about anything else with standings, that being amateur rodeos, open rodeos, world standings, circuit finals, the NFR, that all goes on the rider, so you can use as many horses as you possibly can get your hands on to accomplish that goal. But not at the same time. You only get one entry per event. So when you drive 20 hours to Delta, Utah, you can run one time, 17 seconds hopefully, on one horse, and you just hope you made the right choice. I hope that that gave you tons of information. It's time for me to go saddle. So you guys wish us luck. It's going to be insanely fun. I love this rodeo and I can't wait to run here. So hopefully your brain is on fire and that gave you lots of information to go pursue your own special goal. All right, I couldn't be more impressed with Hush Money's run here at Delta. I thought that she did so beautifully. She's maturing so amazing, am I right? I mean, everywhere I've put her, she's handled the ground, she's handled the situation. She's trying so hard, and to be out running and running with some of the best in the world is more than I could ever ask for. So excited that she did so good, but that's it for today. I hope that you got an earful of rodeo lingo so you can keep up with me for the rest of 2021 and the rodeo season. I'm super excited to hit a lot more rodeos and take you guys with us. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to be subscribed. Ding that notification bell so you can be the first person to get the vlog on your channel. And as always, don't forget to count your blessings, drink your protein, and say thank you to Jesus. See you next time. Did you love this vlog but wish you could get even more training tips and horse content to apply to your training sessions? Make sure to check out thehorseboss.com. I'm excited to be your coach.